Welcome to Roof to Curb, your podcast that is the foodie for the home, presented by Custom One. Custom One, we're talking all things homes, renovation, landscape, and exteriors today. Brought to you by Pull Tab Sports, best podcast producer in this market. So thank you to John King and Tom Garrity. We've got a fun one today. We're going outside. We figured with the weather the way it is at 50, 55 degrees in January, and golf courses open in December and January, why not talk landscaping? So we've got Cindi Olson with Gertens in the wholesale department and John Carlson, Hardscapes sales manager with us. So welcome. Thanks for coming out to Roof to Curb.
Thanks for having us.
Ladies first. Cindi, you want to give us a little background on who Cindi Olson is?
Yeah, thanks, Todd. Cindi Olson, been in the industry for 20 years now. Started as a foreman in the field for a landscape company in Inver Grove. Became a project manager for 7 years after that, and then started selling concrete of all things in 2014. So from concrete, I've worked for two manufacturers locally, Anchor Block, Belgard, and most recently County Materials in Wisconsin, and came to Gertens a year ago. So doing outside sales for Gertens and focused primarily on hardscapes.
Great. And Cindi Olson is our key account manager, if you will, for Custom One Landscaping. Mm-hmm. So we've been working with Cindi in the last couple of years here and been doing a great job and enjoying the partnership. So
love it. Mm-hmm.
Welcome to Roof to Curb.
Thank you.
The veteran, John Carlson.
How are we doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, thanks. I guess I started with Gertens coming up on 25 years ago. Mother's Day of 1999. I was a 17-year-old carry out in front of the store. Worked my summers through college and kind of stayed on after that. Worked in the brickyard for a long time pulling orders, and then got pulled into the business office probably about 20 years ago. 20 years ago. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you've seen a wonderful place of Gertens and Inver Grove Heights change a little bit and grow, and it seems like they just keep adding services and things that they can provide to consumers there. They are on their fourth generation of family members. I started in 1920 as a vegetable truck, and things have gone up from there.
How long in the current location?
The entire time, since 1928, I believe, was the first year they started. Yeah.
So they actually, like, the Mississippi River came in around them.
Yeah, it's essentially, yeah.
Yeah, we're the largest garden center independently owned in the U.S.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
That's big.
Mm-hmm. Say it again.
Yeah. Largest garden center that's independently owned in the
country.
US. In the United States.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
There's got to be a couple garden centers in the United States.
There's a couple. Yeah. Mom and pop, but
well, that's amazing.
They call us, what is it? The Disneyland? The Disneyland of garden centers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it feels like that, right? When you walk in and you got carts and people running around, buzzing around, helping people. And every time I go to Gertens, I always feel like the customer service is hard to beat.
Incredible.
Right? It's top notch. I really think that. So let's talk about just offerings. So people go to Gertens. I see them pulling hostas out of there. We see some trees. We see some hardscapes. Cindi, if you want to start, like what's the array of offerings of just like maybe from a planting standpoint?
Right. Well,
why would I go to Gertens?
Well, Gertens is the grower, right? Our motto, it's only natural to buy from the grower. Our footprint in Inver Grove Heights is about 100 acres. And then we have 3 different locations on the east side of the metro that we grow perennials, shrubs, trees. And then, of course, we buy in a lot of product as well from the West Coast and other growers. So as far as offerings, it's anything plants, anything, herb, anything from vegetable edibles to perennial gardens, shrubs, exotic evergreens. And then we transition over into the hardscape side, which is natural stone and concrete. But then we've got plenty of stuff for the home, patio furniture, great gift shop.
Good Christmas business, even in December. That's a big one.
Yeah, Christmas
I shouldn't
lights.
Even say December. It's October, November, December at this point. Yeah.
It starts after 4th of July.
Right.
Seems like every year gets earlier and earlier. Mm-hmm. It's like just start in January. Roof to Curb podcast, sponsored by Duke Cannon. Don't trust your mutton chops and mustaches to just any brand. Duke Cannon Supply Company makes hardworking grooming products for hardworking guys, and their products will help you keep your facial hair in championship form. From their beard wash and balms to beard oil, they have your back and your face covered. Duke Cannon. Work harder. Smell better. Stock up on DukeCannon.com and use Beard10 for 10% off your next order. Duke Cannon is an official partner of the Minnesota Wild. How about you, John? Like what hardscape stuff? You guys, what is hardscapes? When we say softscapes, hardscapes in the landscaping world, define hardscapes to me.
I guess from our perspective, what we are providing for anybody looking that has hardscapes needs, we have natural stone. We deal with 4 major concrete vendors, Bellegarde, County, Rochester Concrete, and Borgert. All 4 of those are located probably within 50 miles of us.
Yeah.
So when you say concrete, we're not talking like 3-inch, 4-inch flat concrete.
Not poured concrete.
Not poured concrete.
Right.
Correct.
We're talking.
So we'd be looking at interlocking pavers, concrete retaining wall, and then natural stone to fit those categories as well. Natural stone pavers, natural stone wall, outcropping, boulders. If you need it for your backyard, we have it.
Yeah. And if you guys don't have it, so I see some picture and it's a patio in Arizona, for instance, or California or Florida or somewhere warm climate. And I bring that into you and go, hey, I want this. And you're like, well, we don't stock that, but
we can find it.
Yeah, we've got
we do. Obviously, education is a big piece of us.
Yeah.
And with Pinterest and every other, how is everything, customers are all the time, I want this look, I want this.
Yeah.
We can probably get you that look just with plants that are for the zone, right? We're zone 4A for anyone plant-wise. That's the plants that grow in this region. So you don't want to plant the plants that are growing in Arizona. If you do, you got to bring them inside in the winter.
Yeah, it's probably hard to keep a plant from Key West, Florida, going in Minnesota. Right?
Although I have a lemon tree that I bring inside every year. That's pretty incredible.
Keep it going.
To piggyback on that, a lot of people don't realize that that's true of a lot of natural stone as well. A product from the desert Southwest, say, may not have the density to hold up around here. So it's pretty obvious with plants to a lot of people, but that is true of natural stone as well, and something you need to keep in mind.
Yeah, and you get snow and ice and all the climate conditions we get in Minnesota. You don't get those in other places, and that definitely makes it the challenge and why you want to work with a professional that understands that, so that you're not like, well, I saw this and we put it in there and they get no rain, all sun, dry. No humidity, all these different things.
There's literally pavers in Florida that are made out of seashells, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And they're beautiful and they're amazing and super unique. They will not last one winter here. So
there's no frost in
things
the ground
we can't
there
have.
and all that fun stuff. Let's talk about why Gertens. Like you guys have a direct to consumer business, and then you have a huge trade business, right? You deal with a ton of professionals, a ton of installers, a ton of people that do snow plowing, a ton of people that do yard maintenance, right? And I don't know all the clients that you have, but those are some that I think you have, right? Maybe just talk about how diverse of offerings of who do you guys work with, and why is it important that the consumer would work with somebody that would buy product through Gertens versus maybe a smaller shop or somebody that doesn't have the offerings, or maybe the level of service and transportation type things that you guys have. So
I'll start if you don't mind. One thing I always try to hammer with people, specifically on the hardscape side of things, is our sales team. We have a 5-person sales team right now. We are probably close to 100 years of experience between those 5 people in this industry. And of that, 60 of that has been at Gertens. So I think we have a sales team that definitely knows our customer and knows our product offerings. And given that we are, a greenhouse as well as a hardscape supplier, one benefit that we have is our fleet offerings. We have our own flatbeds, our own end dump semis. We have multiple curtain sides. Each of them fit with forklifts, so we can get plants and hardscapes on the same delivery.
Yeah. So maybe, John, where that would be important is, we order, your installer orders 120 plants or 3 pallets of product, and they are short. Right.
Yep.
You guys, they just order it from you at that point, and they're like, well, when can we get it? They're like, well, we don't have vehicles, so when can you come get it? They're like, well, I don't have a vehicle to transport a product like that. You guys would be like, hey, don't worry about it. We have transportations. We can get it out to you today or tomorrow, or instead of waiting weeks and weeks and weeks and having your yard torn up and missing the graduation party or the Father's Day celebration, right?
Yeah, that fleet is a big deal for us. And then obviously when your vendors are scattered throughout the metro, we have trucks anywhere all the time. Getting somebody to stop and pick up a pallet if needed that we're short, or drop something out or run something out to you is not a problem for us at all.
And the ability to ship multiple, the hardscapes and the green goods at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Like your project usually is not just concrete or just plants. There's a mix of both.
Yeah,
So to
and
be able,
coverings.
Yeah, exactly. So to be able to ship both of those and everything in one, that's a one-stop shop for a wholesale contractor.
Yeah, no, that's great. Professional trades, again, using Gertens, full service shop, plenty of offerings in the yard and on location, over 100 acres of growing and servicing. So let's talk about, we talked about climate and change, and we're in February with a 55-degree day, which is, I don't know if we're going to be able to say that in our lifetime again, but spring and fall strategy. So if I'm the consumer again, and what should I be thinking about coming up? And besides the birds and the squirrels and the trees are confused, but what would I be telling my parents right now to take care of their yard for the spring and prep, and what should we be doing today, if
Absolutely.
anything?
Well, I think one thing that's really important is if you are going to have any work done, now's a great time to contact a landscape contractor, because in theory they're slower, right? The ground's a little bit frozen, so they can't go to work. So by contacting a landscape contractor, you can start the process to start planning for your backyard, which people don't always understand that it takes 2 or 3 months sometimes to get a design and bidding and products selected. So,
and it's nice right now where, everything's open.
And you can see it, right? You can go out and measure, take site measurements. So yeah, I think that's a smart thing to do right now. A lot of people call in April and have a grad party the end of May and think they can get a patio and a pool and a pergola and deck in. And it's like, guys, yeah. So now's a great time to start doing that. There's honestly, because we don't have any snow, there's people mulching, and mulching right now is perfectly fine to do. Spring's a great time to start doing that. So we've literally started bringing in loads of mulch, and contractors are picking it up. So
and that's probably earlier than you typically would, right?
Far earlier. I mean, contractors haven't been mulching in February since.
We'd normally be selling salt at this point, but not the case this year.
We do have a lot
shovels.
of salt. Yeah.
Right. Snow blowers, maybe. Cool. How about so Cindi, what I'm hearing is contact your landscape desires and get your design going and get on their books now, so that you're not caught trying to get it in October and November, right?
Exactly.
How about for the fall? What should I do? Is there projects I can do? Is there something I should be doing with my yard? And is there a good time in the fall to do certain types of projects?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think one nice thing is to extend a season for a contractor boulder wall work is always something that can be done. You're not looking for a lot of base material there, or you can at least base and prep and then leave the wall work for yourself when the weather kind of turns. I would say that's a big key for a lot of guys is doing walls later in the year, because you got a lot more flexibility. With the freeze-thaw cycles, you might not be looking to do a paver patio. It's tough to get a good base, so late in the year, walls are where to go.
Mm-hmm. One thing for the homeowner, I forgot to mention, we have a whole turf division, right? So fall is a great time, obviously, to aerate, and then there's fertilizing that goes down before winter. Yep. So that is also we could do a whole nother talk on turf.
Yeah, there's it seems like there's a lot of changes in technologies with what's going on in turf, right? It's not just always sod or just throwing some seed down. You want to talk a little bit about that, Cindi?
There's so many different options now when it comes to like low mow grasses, no mow grasses, native grasses. People are getting away from the high maintenance.
Kentucky bluegrass is kind of going away, right?
A little bit, yeah, exactly. Right. For the right client. I mean, some people want to mow their lawn. If you're retired and have nothing else to do, yes, mowing your lawn twice a week is perfect, right? But for, I would say, 80% of the population, mowing once, maybe every other week is great. So we have a lot of different seed blends. JRK is another Gertens brand of seed blends that we sell that are for a variety of different yards based on your shade, based on your soil conditions. Again, we should probably get some turf experts in here, but honestly, it's there's a whole other variety of options that we can sell.
What do you think the impact of Caddyshack and Bill Murray has had on sod with Kentucky bluegrass?
I think the gophers probably had more of an impact on the bluegrass.
The little dancing gopher.
The dancing gopher, yeah.
Big gobs of greasy grinding gopher guts.
No, I'm
John,
I got to be honest, I've never seen it.
You gotta be kidding
No,
me. You're in
sorry.
the green industry and you've never seen Caddyshack?
Nope.
John, I'll give you $10 if you watch Caddyshack by Sunday.
Done.
Can you,
Yeah, I like
can we
it.
pull it up right now?
I'll give you my Venmo.
We're waiting.
Do it. You got to see it.
Yeah.
It's the best.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, you're missing USA culture, I think.
That is
Noted.
that's historic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll enjoy. Have a couple of drinks in you if you watch it, because
That we can do.
yeah, I don't know if you want to watch it sober. But,
Okay.
definitely good. So there's a line in there, Kentucky Bluegrass, and Bill Murray's a caddy at this
Okay.
private golf course, right? That
Yep.
Rodney Dangerfield's a member at.
Yep.
And Ted Knight and some other guys.
I
But
can't believe you've never seen that.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with it, I guess. I've just never actually
Yeah.
taken
You're a
it
big
in. So.
Lebowski guy, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Did Lebowski have any impact on Sod?
Not that I recall.
See?
No, I don't think so.
No, you gotta watch
Yeah,
Caddyshack.
yeah.
So side tangent, but that
Right.
happens. So good spring, good fall strategy. Let's talk about trees and plants for Minnesota weather. We talked about we can't be putting lemon trees from Key West in the ground in February, but any other trees, plants that are really conducive for Minnesota. So if I was doing a landscaping package at my home, what are some products that are like, hey, these are bona fide hardy products that I should be using, like can't miss in Minnesota? What would you say, Cindi?
Oh my gosh, there's quite a few.
I always start with a hosta, just so you know.
Good hosta. You can't go wrong with a good hosta. Obviously, hostas, perennials, those are plants that come up every year, right? And people confuse those all the time. Annuals, perennials, we have to plant every year. Perennials, definitely the way to go. Generally more low maintenance, but you do have to deal with them in the spring and the fall. As far as perennial hostas, daylilies, there's a lot of native grasses that have been grown to just stay in clump form. They can't die. They won't die.
Yeah.
The Carl Foresters.
Are you guys
the
starting to
Shenandoah.
sell more of that?
Absolutely.
The native grasses are starting to get some more traction as well, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
And they've come a long way with, making sure they don't spread and making sure, they look good. They stand upright all winter. So there's winter interest in your landscape. Those are great. And then as far as shrubs, obviously there's, the barberry, the winterberry. There's just some
fast growing.
fast-growing.
Fill up some spaces for you.
Yeah, exactly. Easy, low maintenance, things you don't have to touch. So
Yeah. The dogwood.
love a good dogwood.
Yeah, the dogwood always blows up and you're like, it's the size of a tree.
Yeah, exactly. And they're coming out. There's a ton of new hydrangeas out too that are, made to grow so that they don't bend over in the sun and they stay a little more compact. And
How important, so you walk through a place like Gertens and you see all these little tags on the shrubs, right? And it's the maintenance and like, hey, plant this in good soil, plant this half sun, half shade. How important is that tag in Minnesota climate?
I think
to follow it?
The sunshade piece is really important. Will it grow in the shade? Yes. Will it grow in the sun? Absolutely. But where will it thrive? That's where you really have to look for it.
So optimal performance. Follow the tag.
Follow the tag. Exactly.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
John, let's go back to Hardscapes. Drive around town. We see a lot of homes. We see a lot of renovation projects. And everyone's kind of like, should I use a boulder here? Should I use a block here? What size block? What shape? Does that matter?
To be honest,
why?
it can in certain applications, I guess, but for the most part, it would just be a matter of personal preference, I guess.
Design aesthetic?
Yeah, we've seen a lot the last couple of years of clean, contemporary looks, things that are more like smooth textured, kind of going towards the grays the last handful of years.
Some blues maybe?
Yeah.
Gray blues?
Yeah, I've been around long enough to know that those things are kind of cyclical. We're getting the clean lines, like I said, right now. We've been tumbled was a big thing in the past. Browns were a big thing in the past. More than likely, we're going to get back to that at some point too.
I feel like golf courses got raised on tumbled blocks.
Yes. Yeah. Right. You see a lot of tumbled material on golf courses. Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at now is the contemporary clean lines, larger kind of scope of slabs, we might call it, instead of a smaller paver, things that are getting over 2 feet.
What are the biggest blocks? Like I've seen small blocks, 5 pounds, 30 pounds, 90 pounds, but how big is a big block?
Well, if you're talking block in terms like a retaining wall,
Yeah.
If you're talking concrete, and I guess like an everyday application, an 8-inch block is typically what you'd see in like a commercial application. But from there, I mean, you can go up to manufacturers that are making blocks that are 8 square feet, a 2x4.
Yeah.
What does
2x4.
something like that weigh?
You're probably about a ton and a half on a 2x4 like that.
3,000 pounds.
Yep.
Per block.
Yep. So you're setting that with a grapple typically, or a skid loader or something along those lines. You're not.
That's a little different art form than me and you carrying a wheelbarrow blocks around. Right.
Not a DIY.
Yeah,
project.
you're probably going to want to for that. You're probably going to want to stick to the 6-inch blocks.
Yeah. A lot of so when you get to those bigger blocks and a lot of engineering involved. Yeah, I don't know if people truly understand that. Like Johnny just doesn't come out with his equipment and blocks and then start throwing stuff around, right?
Yeah, typically something like that you would need engineered, and each city would have different expectations, I guess.
Requirements.
A general rule of thumb is anything over 4 feet requires
enginered for a wall. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. And then you can have to step it back or tier it or whatever you want to do. But what capabilities or maybe what have you guys seen in the local market on a residential platform when it comes to walls? Like, what's a max height you've seen?
Oh my gosh.
Oh boy, I guess
seen some
you
really
see some
crazy
of those
stuff.
some people in the backyard that want to pool and have to do some pretty intense engineering to make that work. With step backs and such, on residential, maybe 15 feet of
height.
12, 15.
I think I built
a
a 14-foot
Yeah, there you go.
tall wall right next to a driveway at Lake of the Isles.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's possible,
Had
right?
to go vertical, tight space,
Yes,
narrow lots.
very tight.
Right?
I think there was maybe 3 or 4 feet behind the wall. That required a ton of special engineering, right? Usually there's geogrid behind the wall. This required
What's geogrid, Cindi?
Geogrid,
People don't know what that is.
Okay, so picture snow fence, orange snow fence. Okay. Geogrid is similar looking. However, it's made out of a synthetic material that is laid then horizontally in between each block. In between each course. And what that does is as you lay the geogrid back into the hillside and then bring the clear rock behind the wall, it stabilizes the soil behind the retaining wall.
Yeah.
So as the earth moves, right, the number one killer of retaining walls is water.
Sure.
There's constant water movement. Water's got to filter through. And so that geogrid, once it's laid behind the wall, it helps stabilize that soil.
I think that's a great point from standpoint. John, I'm sure you guys deal with this all the time. The novice or the DIY comes in and says, I don't know, I bought these blocks and I used them and I built it and my wall's level and I put in a good base and I did all these things I saw on YouTube, right? Except for my walls falling apart on me. I never thought of water mitigation, right?
Yep.
So how often does that happen where they're like, water mitigation? What do you mean? Like it rains and it's not going to do anything.
It's going to be a problem on every wall. So it's something that people need to take into consideration, I guess. For the most part, when talking with retail customers, the scope of a wall that they're doing on their own probably isn't going to be one that's going to be much of a problem. But that is something that our contractors are dealing with all day long.
Weep holes and drain tile and
tile.
What bases and soils do I use? Right.
Yep,
I can't just throw whatever product behind the wall.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there is a learning curve for you can kind of tell the guys that know what they're doing, those that have been around a while, and then the guys that are trying to maybe cut some corners or maybe haven't had the experience of cost going back and fixing things.
That soil costs X, this soil costs Y. Y is cheaper. I'll just buy some more Y.
Right. So yeah, it's
Y is bad.
all something to be taken into account. How you're going to properly backfill with clear material and that sort of thing.
Cool. There's more complexity than, like I said, green side up and throwing some plants in and a couple blocks around it. We got a landscaping project done. Any other trends that you guys are seeing, especially, you talked about, John, the modern contemporary look of hardscapes. Definitely we're seeing that. Cleaner lines. Pavers and patios have changed, I feel like, immensely compared to like cobblestone or brick. And now it's gone into just some crazy different colors and shapes and sizes. But you want to speak on like maybe some trends that you're seeing in the last couple of years, and then even moving forward, like what do you see coming?
Yeah.
Where does the technology stop, right?
I would say the biggest trend that I've seen or that stands out to me right now would be just the size of the pavers, the 2x4s that we're getting in terms of porcelain. Big scope is kind of the way things are going.
Large format.
Yeah, and as far as technology goes, some things that have come around tool-wise, like vacuum packs for install purposes, and it's exactly what it sounds like, a couple of guys on each end of a vacuum, and you're able to pick up those slabs. and set them. It saves you a lot of labor in terms of wear and tear on your guys, but it also saves a lot of time in terms of setting that paver.
Precise activity.
Yeah, you're able to get that paver in the right spot without maybe impacting your base in a negative way by walking around on it. And that
What
sort
do some
of
of those things weigh?
Some of the bigger slabs like that are probably
like
100,
120.
110. Yeah, somewhere.
They're
getting big.
Be moving those around all day for you'll sun's out, guns out, right?
Right. Yeah. And we rent a lot of that type of equipment, those type of tools that'll help you in that type of stuff, the vacs and paver setters and that sort of thing.
Yeah. It's crazy to watch just how that all works. Even watching a large scale patio be installed by professionals that are really good at it. It's pretty fun.
It actually installs really fast. I think that's what people, maybe some of the old
more in
school.
the prep, right? I mean,
It's the prep. Yeah, the
prep's
prep's
gotta be good.
essential. Yeah. Prep essentially should be the same whether you're doing the small cobble or large scale. But I think one thing some contractors don't know is, cobble, you have to touch every piece 3 times before you lay it, right? Whereas these large scale pieces, one guy or gal can grab it, lay it down, and then they're on to the next one. So as far as installing, it's almost twice as fast to install large scale pavers versus small scale cobble.
I'm just amazed at some of the products that are coming out and have been out recently, and they're gorgeous. I mean, they're unbelievably gorgeous.
Yeah,
And
John mentioned porcelain, and I think that's newish to this market. We've seen it in other markets take off. Denver's a big porcelain market, but one of the local manufacturers, RCP Rochester, they manufacture down in Rochester, Minnesota, and then obviously in Jordan, Minnesota. They're coming out with a new product this year. It's called Geoceramica, and it's where a piece of porcelain is attached to concrete underneath. And so what that does is it gives the product a ton of stability. It's a beautiful product. I mean, porcelain's amazing. And some people think, oh, I can't put porcelain outside. No, you absolutely can.
Yeah.
It has texture. It passes all the slip coefficients. So porcelain outside is awesome. You can use it inside in your sunroom and then carry it right outside into your patio. So
doesn't scratch, can't fade.
Can't fade.
I think that's probably people's general concern. Porcelain's going to scratch, right?
Yep.
Like, that's probably,
Nope, not a thing.
like,
Yeah.
whoa. No, I think you're good.
Big application on rooftops too. Like, porcelain is kind of the way to go.
Yeah, it's crazy. People think, heavy asphalt, right? Roof to Curb is sponsored by Will Anderson Insurance. I want you to try a quick exercise for me. Think of your insurance person. Okay. Can you picture them? It's probably some person from high school or the old neighborhood that you no longer keep in touch with. Insurance is too important for the status quo. Isn't it time you switch to one of the best? Will Anderson can help you with all of your home, auto, and commercial insurance needs. He'll give you a fair solution. He'll be there to pick up the phone when you need him most, and he'll explain a complicated business like he's reading a children's book. Reach out to Will Anderson, and we bet you he'll save money too. Call or text Will for a quote at 612-361-7283 or visit willandersonagency.com. So a lot of softscapes, a lot of hardscapes, walls, pavers, but I think, and you guys correct me if you're wrong, if you've seen the same trend. Good, because I need a lot of that.
I'm kidding.
Since COVID, it feels like people are spending more time at their home, right? And when they do that, they want to enjoy the outdoor spaces. Minnesota, typically not a long summer season, but when it is summer and fall, it's a beautiful place to be.
They actually say there's more pools per capita here in Minnesota than any place else in the country.
Explain that one.
I don't know if I haven't fact checked that, but I've heard that, and it doesn't surprise me.
Right?
Right.
And back to the COVID thing,
Right.
people started bringing all their facilities into their home and in their residence, right? Pools and sport courts and
Outdoor
work areas.
kitchens.
Yeah, all those kind of things,
the
right?
outdoor living room.
So let's keep going down that path of what are we seeing with water, fire, kitchens, lighting, sound.
Oh my gosh.
What are you guys seeing as far as maybe a trend and maybe from mild to wild of like people put a paver in so they can hang out. Cool. But what are you seeing around those spaces? Back to maybe the Disney World of Gertens, right? What's the Disney world and backyards that you're seeing, and what are you seeing some fun installers do?
Well, I think that obviously the big thing is the outdoor room, right? Like, how do you carry your inside outside? Fire features are huge, whether it's in ground or portable, right? Contractors are installing
Tables,
pits, all of those. And then water features, probably not as popular just because they're a lot more maintenance.
Yeah, a lot of maintenance.
People think, oh yeah, that'd be great, but it's...
But again, like fire tables and pits, water, has standalone products, right?
Yes, absolutely. Gertens has a lot of pondless waterfalls, right? That you can just install, plug
Bring
in.
inside next to the lemon tree.
There you go.
Right,
Yeah,
you're fine.
exactly. You're good. You got your bubbler and your lemon tree right next to each other.
What maybe like price ranges of some of those, the independent water features? What is that? $100? Is it $6,000?
Yeah, those are going to go, and those are going to range anywhere from, I'd say, maybe starting at $600-$700 all the way up to, I mean, you can go crazy, right? $3,000, $4,000. So
the part of that too is it's a lot of the components, and then after that, it's up to you to how you're gonna, what stones you're gonna put next to it, what plants you're gonna put next to it. But yeah, the components, I mean,
yeah,
are pretty minimal when you look at something like that. You're probably set a few $100 on getting a small kit.
We've had a lot of requests lately of people wanting to dig ponds, right, on acreage rural facilities where they're like, hey, we want a larger pond, right? Not a pool, but maybe a pond, and we're digging out ponds. It's kind of crazy, but it creates a pool, right?
Right.
And then, landscaping and facility that goes around that. Maybe there's a fire pit. Maybe there's, some other facilities there, patios and things like that. But, larger scale, more expensive projects, but kind of fun too.
That's incredible. Yeah, pools have come a long way, right? I mean, the chlorine is not a thing anymore, right? We're doing salt water. We're doing UV, right? There's UV pools. Awesome technology.
Yeah. So I think it's fun to see and see the people get inspired traveling, right? Whether they're going overseas or they're going to Florida or California, and then they see some facilities that they like, and then they're like, hey, how do I bring some of that back? Right? We all go to some hotel or resort or destination that we're like, boy, if I could just have a little piece of that every day, in my life, I think I'd be in a better spot, right?
Absolutely.
So it's kind of fun to see. But anything else with down the lightings and sounds and fire and water on outdoor spaces or even kitchens?
Lighting is one thing that homeowners probably easily overlook. If they're going to do a DIY project, it might not be on their radar, but if you're going to hire a contractor, lighting is huge, right? It gets dark at 4:00 here in the winter. So if you're going to spend all this money on your backyard, why not be able to see it from the inside? So we like to encourage contractors to get demo kits and bring them out to their homeowner's home, install once they're done with their project, set the demo kit up, leave it on for the homeowner over the weekend, see if they even notice it, right? Maybe not even tell them. And then come back and be like, oh, hey, did you like, there's undercap lights, there's pathway lights, there's, up lights for trees. All of those options are great. And once homeowners see it, they usually don't want you to turn the lights off. So,
well, and once they do see it and then you pull it away and it's all dark, they're like, wait a minute.
Come back. Yeah.
And I think the light install too has simplified over the last 5 or 10 years in terms of the technology behind it.
Sure.
To install some lights is not that much of an add-on at this point.
It's not. It's all controlled by your phone, Bluetooth.
Right. Yep.
It's all low voltage. So there's a lot of great options.
I'm a huge fan of lighting and audio in those outdoor spaces. Water, it's nice, but I think that audio and lighting, especially throughout scenery, changing, sun's going down, sun's coming up, whatever it might be, is it just creates a different environment for sure. All right, let's switch hats to maybe a new construction or a renovation project. And I'm getting ready to build a new home, and I'm going to spend $1 million on a home, right? Do I get a $7,000 landscaping package? What do you guys recommend?
That's going to get you 2 trees and 3 shrubs for $7,000.
Yeah. How do I protect my value, right? Like, I'm not into putting a foot of rock around the house, right?
Little maintenance strip.
But what do you guys typically see? What would you recommend? Like, hey, if you're going to go down this new construction process, really to protect your investment that you just spent $1 million on, how do I beautify it with landscaping? And what do you recommend from a budget standpoint?
Budget-wise, it's usually on average, they say 10% of your home cost should then be your landscape.
Okay.
If you're on hillside and need retaining walls, you might want to bump that to 15 because walls are expensive. But but yeah, 10% is probably a good starting point, to be honest. And then there's also proportion, right? If you're building $1 million home, a $2 million home, you need a landscape around it that looks like, that's proportionate to it. So you can't just do, like you said, the maintenance strip of 2 feet around.
Little pebble rock and we're good. Right. I'll put a tree in there at some point. But you got any recommendation, John?
A lot of times HOAs will tell you what you have to spend as far as a percentage of a purchase price. But it's
we're involved in a development down in Credit River, acreage lots. There's 4 builders down there, and we put in the HOA, it has to be a $75,000 minimum package.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's all concrete driveways, and 75,000, even 75,000 goes on an acreage
goes
lot,
very
goes
quick.
pretty quick.
Yeah.
You get $40,000 in sod,
Yeah. It's incredible.
Doesn't
the
take
irrigation.
much. Right. So, but that was put in to try to help, protect the home values.
That's what they say. Landscapes sell homes. Homes are great. Right.
Without a doubt. I mean, especially some outdoor
apples to apples.
features and, some of these outdoor fire pits and fireplaces and pizza ovens. We haven't really talked about pizza ovens, but watching these ovens, and they become these focal entertaining spaces for kids and adults, and it's just kind of a fun time, right? Especially if you got a pool going or a hot tub, and you got the pizza going, and you're burning those things every 2 minutes, and it can be pretty fun.
A lot of our manufacturers actually sell kits for that type of stuff as well. It's kind of simplified it for the do-it-yourselfer. Yeah. But for the landscaper as well. I mean, if you can get a fireplace that comes in 2 or 3 pieces versus having to put it together block by block, you're walking away from that job site that much quicker. And
the more module systems.
Right. Right.
Yeah. It's crazy, the evolution of where it's gone. Right.
Right.
But I think it's great. It's just more flexible, more things going on. We talked a little bit about Gertens and how involved they've become over maybe the decades of Christmas and winter and lights and furnishings and trees. I always love buying Christmas trees, fake Christmas trees from Gertens. Mm-hmm. I think one of the best suppliers in the state of Minnesota is definitely Gertens for a wide variety of price points and trees and heights and all that fun stuff. But let's just talk about the Christmas village that Gertens has become.
Right. Yeah. If you've been out to our location out there, there's a large greenhouse, the large retail store that is completely converted to Christmas come, I guess, November 1, probably, as soon as we put the Halloween stuff away, and probably even before that. But
July 4th, John.
Yeah,
July 4th.
Right. But yeah, there's if you walk in the store down there, there are a ton of artificial tree options for you. Plenty of rows of lights. We have our own brand of lights.
Tons
real
of
trees
flexibility
even
in
out
those
front.
offerings,
Yeah,
right? Lights,
yeah, absolutely.
It's not just some white light, or it's everything.
It's something else that you really got to walk in there and see it, because the offerings are unbelievable.
You think Buddy the Elf would be in there, right? Choreographed lighting and sound going on. You guys got some of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it is a full immersive experience. You'll get all of that. Yeah.
We have Santa come too, don't we?
Oh yeah.
Santa's
I think we have even live reindeer.
We have
and
reindeer.
such.
That's
yeah.
right.
There's a petting zoo there. Yeah.
How about
It's wild.
all the urns and the pots, and you guys extensive offerings of, hey, spring's coming, I want to get my plantings, my pots, my urns, right? Mm-hmm. And then winter, you guys have another array. Well, the fall, right? The mums, right?
Absolutely.
But maybe talk about how did that evolve? And you can either buy product to put it together, or you can just buy it assembled, right?
Yeah, I think we do offer both. So yeah, if you want a certain look, we'll design it for you and deliver the container completely finished, which is incredible. Or if you want to design your own, our container selection is vast. Some of the best ones, I think Crescent makes a great planter, and they're lightweight. They're poly, so they're very durable.
Different sizes, different shapes, colors.
Yeah. And then we also obviously have the glazed planters as well, which are beautiful.
Big ceramic.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's quite the business, right? And I know we've got some clients and people that they've got the window boxes, and they pay people to come in and create this wonderful assembly.
My favorite.
Do you guys offer that too? So if I walked in as Joe the consumer, and I said, hey, I want you to actually come to my house and fill up my window boxes, do you guys do that?
We don't have a service that does that, but that's actually my side hustle.
Yeah, there you go. Cindi, the window box
Olson.
at
It's Everbloom. It's called Everbloom. Just a little plug there.
There you go. Well, hey, now you know. Now you
never know. Yeah, you need me to come to your planters? Sure.
That's great. What else would I come to Gertens for?
What else we can do? One thing I like to do, especially on the contractor side, is do product selections with homeowners. So if you're a landscape contractor, landscape architect working with a homeowner, I always invite them in. We've got great displays. We obviously have plants, but But on the hardscape side, it's kind of fun to be able to pick out your own concrete, pick out your stone, pair it together. So we offer that, right? If we know you're coming, I'll pull together a little vignette of what your patio and walls might look like.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that it's contractors. It's a good resource. They can use us.
We see it, different intensity of a client, right? So they're like, no, just pick it out. We trust you.
Sure.
And then you get the client that's like, no, I want to go shopping, right? Let me go meet with Cindi at Gertens with you, and let's lay down the landscaping plan. Let's lay down plants. I want to feel, touch, see. I want to see the tag. I want to make sure it's sun
Pick out my own boulders. We've got
Right.
we've literally got homeowners that like, I want that one, and
fun design build experience, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I think that's great, and that's a service that you guys offer, and you guys are obviously phenomenal at it. You've been doing it since 1920. So, John, what other offerings? What else are people missing with Hardscapes at Gertens?
We haven't really touched much on natural stone yet, I guess. We do work with some vendors. Eden Stone out of Wisconsin has been a vendor of ours for as long as I've been at Gertens. Very popular Chilton and Eden Stone for your 8-inch wall stones. Flagstone, we have outcropping to match. Lawn
Boulders.
edging. Boulders is a branch of that as well. A paver, a very, very dense paver that we are going to be stocking this year. They are putting together a package for us specifically.
So you guys see a void somewhere in the marketplace and say, hey, here's a product that we can plug in there for the consumer.
Yep. We've had a great relationship with them for many, many years. And so this was kind of nice to collaborate with them on something that we were looking for our market specifically. And credit to Cindi. She's the one that's kind of spearheaded that and was pounding on the table and said, we need something that no one else has in this area right now.
I think that speaks to your staff though as well, right? You guys have extremely good tenured staff. You guys don't have the, person that has no experience really working at Gertens. You guys have a great training program for young employees, but the vast people that deal with service at Gertens is really strong and really talented and skilled. So
I think that's one thing that I enjoy focusing on, is because at the end of the day, some of these distributors sell the same product, right? But but if you can go somewhere and get great service, that's what people ultimately want.
I always say you walk into a retail location and you see a product and then you read the tag, right? There's always a tag or a description. And then you go over and you say, hey, I need some help. I'm interested in this product. And they grab the tag and they read it to you.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Like,
thank you.
That's not what, I just read that. I get it. But you guys don't have that. You guys have vast knowledge and information behind the tag, right? So to your point, Cindi.
Well, and that's the thing too, like John was speaking about Eden Valders, they're a partner of ours. We do quarry tours where we'll take landscape contractors, designers to the quarry. You can physically see the boulders coming out of the quarry. The quarry's right in Wisconsin, so it's local, right?
Fun.
We play well with Wisconsin. But yeah, I mean, and then to see the product go from boulder coming out of the earth to, patio stone, right? I mean, who wouldn't want to see that? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's fun to see.
And it's nice to have them see how long it takes to fab some of that stuff, so you can maybe explain why your lead times are.
Right.
It takes a long time to saw through a boulder.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
And to get the right products, right? Like it's a quality conversation. Like, if you want the cheap products that you can get readily available today, then you pay that price, right? But if you're looking for something that more substantial, much more design centric, and long lasting, the right product for your project, then sometimes you got to wait a little bit. But you guys have been great. Thanks for coming on. Anything else, Gertens wise? Any other magical stuff behind the Disney World curtain of Gertens?
I guess just for shameless plug purposes, if there's any contractors that are listening, we do have an event on March 1st down at Mystic Lake where we kind of put on our own little Gertens trade show,
education classes.
Education day. Yeah. So there's opportunities there to meet vendors, to meet Gertens staff. There's some demos, a little bit of everything, kind of our own smaller version of MNLA, if anybody's familiar.
So education platform plus vendors and talking direct to manufacturers and products, right? So product and education show.
Yep. Yeah. And if anybody is interested in attending that, they could certainly just email us at wholesale@gertens.com and we can make sure that they get all the pertinent information.
Wholesale@gertens.com.
That's it.
John and Cindi will take care of you and direct you down to Mystic Lake so you can have a wonderful day of learning about some education products so they can get better at what they do.
Perfect.
So I think that's great. Cindi Olson, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Todd.
We'll see you throughout the year. And John, we'll see Carlson. We'll see you throughout the year as well. So
Don't forget Caddyshack.
Caddyshack.
I got it.
$10
Tonight.
Tonight.
by Monday.
Love it.
So get the Venmo.
All right.
But yeah, thanks again. Roof to Curb with Gertens, talking landscaping. Can't wait to get the summer going. Thanks for coming out.
Thanks.
Thanks, Todd.